Hey, my name's Joel and welcome back to another video on the Traveler Toolkit. Today I'm going to be telling you about another great option if you're looking for a heavy-duty bike rack to mount on the back of your truck or SUV that's capable of carrying not one, but two large, heavy e-bikes. This is the OUTFITR dual bike e-bike bike rack, and it mounts into a 2-inch receiver, has a capacity of 200 pounds, that's 100 pounds per bike, and it comes with a ramp so you don't have to break your back getting your heavy bikes up on this rack. I think it's a great option for RVers and travelers of all different kinds that like to take their bikes with them wherever they go, so stick around, we're going to go through all the features and I'll tell you what I really think about this bike rack. Just a heads up that while OUTFITR did pay to be featured on the channel, this is not a commercial for them. This is still an honest and transparent review. I have full control over it and they're not gonna see it before I post it. All right, so let's go ahead and do a test load for you so you can see how to properly load these bikes. The first thing I would advise you to do is remove this ratcheting post from the center vertical bars. There's one for each bike. I simply take them off and set them on the bumper or on the rack somewhere close so that I have them where I need them when the bike gets up there, but they'll be in the way and could scratch your bike if you leave them on. It's just easy to take them off and works much better. So we'll go ahead and set this on the bumper. I'm gonna start with the rear bike, my heaviest bike of the two e-bikes that I have. So I'm going to take my ramp out, place it in the two holes for the ramp, grab my bike, push it up here. Now this bike weighs almost 100 pounds. You'll see how easy it goes up here. Really easy, sets in place. And the first thing I want to do is get my vertical post up, get my ratcheting clip mounted on that. Simply tighten it on and lean it back, ratchet it in. It's protected with this rubber gasket, and you'll see once you get the center post on there, it's extremely stable. You've got all the time in the world once that's done because it's not going to fall. That's a real plus that I've really struggled with, honestly, with other e-bike ramps. So the next thing you want to do is tighten down your tires. And it starts by positioning this chalk here in the correct place. Now you can turn this center screw here or the bolt on the track and adjust it back and forth wherever you need it, but you want it tight up against the tire so that when you ratchet down the tension, you're as tight as you can be. See how tight that is? So the chalk right underneath the tire, ratchet down tight as well. The front ratchet doesn't have a chalk. It sets in this tire trough. And this ratchet strap's a little shorter, so you just have to be extra careful to tighten it down. And this bike is already completely loaded, just a few minutes. So I'm gonna grab my sled here or my ramp, place it on this side, get ready for my next bike, put my center post up. Now I'm ready to bring the bike over. So this bike is a little lighter and has skinnier tires, but I wanted you to be able to see the difference in loading a fat tire and a skinny tire bike. Again, I've got my center ratcheting clamp going on the center post here. And I'll point out with this bike that there's two ways you can mount this. You'll notice on the other bike, I mounted it on the seat post, which is my preferred method. This is kind of a good, nice hold. But you see here, I've got this one mounted vertical so I can grab onto the bike frame. It's all up to you. This head swivels and turns, can go horizontal or vertical. So I'm just gonna clip it on here on the frame so you can see that. Ratchet it down. Make sure it's where these rubber gaskets come in handy. Make sure we're all protected, nice and good. So we've got this one on the frame, that one on the post. Again, we've already got this chalk in its proper place. And because this has traditional spokes, we just wanna be more careful in positioning to make sure that we're not touching any of our spokes. You don't want to damage your spokes with the ratchet strap. Gonna come through here, same thing. Watch our spokes, pull it tight. And you want to get it absolutely as tight as you can. Then once you're done, you're satisfied, take your ramp, stick it back in the receiver on the front of the rack, take your pin, your safety pin, lock it down through the hole, And that's it. 2 e-bikes loaded on this by myself with very minimal effort. You saw it, in less than 5 minutes. It makes having heavy e-bikes and taking them wherever you want to go really easy. It's intuitive, and the way that these ratcheting straps work just makes it that much easier. Okay, so now that you've seen how it works, let's talk about how it rides. I found that when you lock it down correctly, this thing actually rides really smooth. The bikes don't bounce around. Even though I've got some heavy bikes on the back of this, it's nice and smooth. You don't feel a lot of tugging, pulling, wobbling, things like that. You just need to make sure that when you mount it and you use that threaded bolt into your hitch receiver, make sure you tighten it enough. There's a lock washer on there. Put your pin in and ensure that you're installing it properly so it doesn't go anywhere, because it is a sturdy bike rack, and if you do it properly, it will ride smoothly. Now, attaching the bike rack to your vehicle couldn't be easier if you have a 2-inch receiver on the back like most trucks do, or even SUVs, or you've added one yourself. All you do is put the rack into the receiver, then you've got this handy locking bolt here with pin on the other side. It takes all the wobble out of the bike rack. And I've also found if you leave these 2 arms up, it's really easy to pick up. All you do is pick it up by the top, then simply guide it into your 2-inch receiver. And here's a quick tip for when you're attaching the bolt. Don't come at it with a crescent wrench. There's no ability to tighten that bolt by hand. You're gonna have to use some kind of tool because it binds up every now and then just because of the nature of the hitch and how straight it is. It will take you forever with a crescent wrench. So get yourself a socket to the right size, or it'll take quite a while. And the size socket you're gonna need is 24 millimeters. It fits that bolt perfectly and just makes it super easy to take the rack on and off. But the good news is, once you get that tightened down properly, this thing is not going to bounce at all. I mean, look how tight it is to the back of the truck. It shakes my entire truck when I try to shake it. Now, as we start to talk about features of this bike rack, I think the #1 feature is this guy right here. It's the ramp connected to the front of the rack. And it's simply connected with a pin that you can pull out and then pull the ramp off completely. This ramp attaches to the end of either bike rack and allows you to just roll your heavy e-bikes right up on the rack without needing to slide anything out. And honestly, I've reviewed several different bike racks with ramps, and I like the fact that this is a separate piece. It's not built in, because you can take it off and put it on whenever you want to. You don't have to kind of load it into the rack, and then when you're done, you stick it right up here on the front, put your pin back in, and you are ready to go. And oh yeah, when you're not hauling bikes around and you don't want this rack hanging all the way off your vehicle, all you have to do, pull this pin right here, push the rack up, and you can lock it in right here in this position. Safety pin in, and that's not going anywhere. You can drive around with no bikes, and it only comes about 1.5 feet off the back of your vehicle. So obviously there's a lot to love on this OUTFITR bike rack. I think there's several features that make it stand above the rest that I've tried out. The first is the ramp. I've seen other bike racks similar to this that will carry large e-bikes, but the ramp is either built in or even the bike rack itself tilts. We've tested some of those on the channel before, but I personally like this detachable rack a lot better. The center section never moves. The platform is steady and secure, and it just makes that heavy bike all that more secure when you roll it up on top of the rack and try to secure it for that initial tug. Again, once you get your center post in with this bike rack, you are good to go. It's not going anywhere. But if this was tilting and moving, then it would be harder to secure the first point of contact, and therefore a little more precarious when doing it alone. And that's the whole point of this rack. You want to be able to do it alone. The second thing I really love, I've already alluded to, is these center posts. I love all the padding and rubber on them, and I love how easy they make it to simply pop them off the top, and you can attach them once you get your bike up there. If this were attached permanently or it wasn't easy to take off, then as you were loading your bike, it would be in the way. So I think this is a great design, and it's going to protect your bike frame however you mount it, whether it's on the seat post or here on the center frame tubing. Something else I really like is the weight of this bike rack. Even though it holds up to 200 pounds of bikes, it's not as heavy as others I've used. It's easy to pick up, and if you leave these center posts attached here, you can kind of pick it up while the rack is down near your ankles and just slip it into your receiver on your vehicle. I find that to be a really natural kind of motion, and it's really easy to place it in the vehicle. So that's something small, but does make a big difference if you're loading and unloading this rack all the time. All right, so there you have it. This is the OUTFITR 2-bike e-bike stand. It's got a 200-pound capacity, and if you're interested in picking one up for yourself, I'll leave a link in the description below. A big thanks to OUTFITR for providing this rack so we could do this video. As always, my name is Joel. This is the Traveler Toolkit, and I'll see you in the next video.